Welcome back to the Drum Mission, ladies and gentlemen. I was going to do something more instructional. I was actually going to do a demonstration of a Tower of Power groove from Dave Garibaldi, but I changed my mind. So I did this kind of in this video. I kind of threw it together quickly because I wanted to do this. I realized that Monday, December 8th, was the 45th anniversary of John Lennon's passing. And I say John Lennon's passing to be nice. He was murdered. He was murdered by a mentally ill individual. And we talk a lot on this channel about mental illness besides the drums. And this time of year, the suicide rate is going to skyrocket. Look, in this country, we are terrible with healthcare. And when I say healthcare, I'm including mental illness. We are the only industrialized nation that hasn't been able to figure out some kind of national or universal healthcare. And then we have that cowboy culture that people are afraid to admit when they're mentally struggling, whether it be with depression or anxiety or worse, schizophrenia or something like that, and to talk to someone. But I'm telling you, if we made that available to people, we would see the murder rate, especially from things like that, drastically decrease. At least mass shootings would decrease. So I'm a lefty in my politics. But without adding one iota of gun control, if we just open the doors up from people who are struggling to get mental health help, we would see mass shootings decrease. All right. Enough of that. That's my public service announcement. Let's talk about John Lennon a little bit. John Lennon is my favorite songwriter of the Beatles because he wrote from his heart. He wrote what he was feeling. He wrote the things that were troubling him. And not at first. It didn't really start to happen till like 1965, but once it started to happen, that's what he did. And the songs became more relatable. Now, Paul did it too, George did it too, but John did it all the time. And so I started to think, what song did John write that I would say is the hardest for Ringo to play? And I started to think about what most people say would be the hardest for Ringo to play, or drummers in general. And so there's Come Together. Let me demonstrate that. Come Together is a great tune. And that triplet pattern, fun to play. You need a little bit of technique to do that, but not really that difficult. To be honest with you, if you've been playing drums for 2 or 3 years, you can probably do that. That's not to take anything away from Ringo. The fact that he did that and he made a groove out of that, that shows his song drumming genius. But it's not that hard to play. Then I started to think about A Day in the Life. And when I say A Day in the Life, I'm including Strawberry Fields Forever, I Am the Walrus. There are several tunes that fit into that category. Even Rain, in some ways, fit into this idea of instead of playing a groove, he's really using fills as a groove. And Ringo was really good at doing that. But I'm going to demonstrate now. I read the news today, oh boy, about a lucky man who made the grade. Ba-ba-dee, ba-ba-ba-da. My singing voice is lovely, isn't it? Isn't it absolutely lovely? Did it make you cry a little bit when you heard me? It made me run, trying to hit my head on the window, trying to get out of here. But again, that's a stroke of Ringo's genius, but not really that hard to play. I think you need some seasoning to be able to do that. I don't think it's like a second-year drum student could do that or would think of it, but not that hard to play. And then I thought Happiness is a Warm Gun. because Happiness is a Warm Gun goes through 3 meter changes. It's 4/4, it's 6/8, it's 3/4, and even George Martin, who at first was not a big fan of Ringo, said Ringo did that like a champ. He just navigated those meters like buttering bread, just so beautifully. So I don't consider that very hard to do, but you do have to have some musical know-how. You have to have a good understanding of music, but you don't need to have a lot of technique. And then I started to think about my Beatles tribute band and what song do I dread? Dread. And that's the song Help. Now, I love the song Help. It's my favorite John Lennon song because he was really speaking from his heart at the time. John was writing Help, and it was the Beatlemania, all that stuff. And if you listen to the demos of Help, it was a ballad. It was not a fast tune. So they sped the thing up to about 200 beats a minute, and Ringo plays eighth notes all the way through for like 3 minutes, maybe a little more. I'm not even sure, maybe a little less. 3 minutes. Let me tell you, if you don't have that molar technique down, and Ringo didn't even know the molar technique, he just did it naturally. But if you don't have that down, you can't do this. And I do the molar technique well, but I still, if I go too long between doing that tune, I'll have pain. Let me demonstrate how to do it. If you get good at this, you'll be good at all those Jeff Beccaro 16th notes, Gadd 16th notes. Your ability to play the drums will go up 10 levels. So let me show you, let me explain why I think Help. And there are other songs that are like Help. Don't Want to Spoil the Party, I Want to Be Your Man, similar kind of ideas where you have to play those fast eighth notes. But this one is in a category all by itself. Anyway, let's go right to the drum studio, and I'll see you guys on the next one. See you in a week. That's right. It's Help. Help is a deceptively... It sounds simple. It's not. It is molar grip all the way. And those people that will say, well, Ringo didn't really have any technique. No, he did. And so Help cruises by, and they didn't have a click, so it's anywhere between like 192 and 196, 197. It falls in there. It moves around. But we're talking about, and if you watch Jeff Beccaro, he's got the same technique on his 16th notes. So we're going up, down, and you don't have to do that edge of the hi-hat thing. You can see my motion is the same. I'm down, I'm up. This is a derivation of the molar grip. And you have to have that down. And let me say this. This song runs about 3 minutes long. And even when he's on the crash, he's still doing those eighth notes. So we're talking about doing eighth notes almost nonstop. There are a few stops. Almost doing that nonstop for 3 minutes straight. And I've got good molar grip technique. But if I don't do it on a regular basis, like I have a Beatles tribute band, and that band plays from, I don't know, April through September, sometimes October. When I come back the following year and I do that song, I can feel it in here. I can feel it in here. So it's down, up. Without the edge of the hi-hat, down, up. Down, up. So I'm also opening my fingers just enough to sort of catch it and swing it back. But you really got to work on this to get that momentum just right. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to play it along with the tune in my headphones because the Beatles are the worst about copyright stuff. And I'm going to play along with the record. And then I'm going to play for like maybe 10, 20 seconds and then clip it out and show it to you again in slow motion. But it is a very hard song to do, and it takes a lot of technique. And let me say this. There are several tunes. I Want to Be Your Man, Do You Want to Spoil the Party, that has this kind of thing in it. So there are several. But this one, I think Ringo plays the loudest and the most driving. And then, between every verse and chorus, he's doing the double eights on the floor tom and the snare. That whole thing is pretty hard at 193, 194, 195. That's hard. So I'll tell you the truth. If you want to get good at those Jeff Porcaro 16th notes, practice help. You don't want to do this. You'll never make it. You don't want to do this. You don't even want to do this because it's not the right feeling. You want to, which gives you a little swing. All right, let me reset the cameras and I'll play it through and then I'll clip it out in slow motion and back to fast. And I will see you on the next one.
We'd like to sing. Is our latest record. Or our latest electronic noise, depending on whose side you're on. Any road, we'd like to carry on with it. It's the last number. We'd like to thank you all for being so wonderful. And it's called Help.